Yeah, right.
When so you have to get it right. Yeah.
Yep, no problem.
You have to get it right.
You ready? Okay. Happy summer vacation, and welcome to our July board meeting. And as usual, we'll start with a superintendent's report.
Well, thank you, Dave. Welcome to everyone in the audience this evening and to those watching the live stream. Hope everyone had a great 4th of July weekend, and then you're enjoying the summer to this point. We're getting close to that halfway point of summer. So my report, of course, is going to be quite brief, but I did want to touch on some important things that have been going on this summer, starting with our summer services. High school wrapped up summer school back early July. We had about 45 students participate in their programs, which included credit recovery online, some in-person credit recovery, and some incoming freshman camps for, I believe, math and English, correct, Adam?
Science too.
Science as well. Middle school is continuing to offer in-person tutoring, and that's continuing. We have about 20 students at the middle school taking advantage of that. And then our elementary summer school is still operating and kicking. We have about 80 students participating in our elementary program. So I'd just like to take a second to thank our hardworking VCS staff for all their hard work this summer to provide this valuable service to our students in our community. Also, you may have seen the Vicksburg Community Schools Foundation Big Read machine out on the roads. They're going to continue to operate all summer in order to provide books to our students as well. In front of you, you will see a black pouch, and I'd like you to grab that pouch if you don't mind. This is what, I want to make sure I get it correctly because sometimes, this is what's called an RFID cell blocking pouch. So what I'd like everybody to do is you will put your phone in here. Then once you get it down, you'll just roll that Velcro over and secure it and set it in front of you. The reason we are doing this tonight, we want to support, we formed a cell phone committee. We had 3 board members part of that, administrators from the middle school and high school, myself, talk about cell phones and how we want to handle them in the future. The number one concern is the disruption of instructional time due to cell phones. So this year at the high school, every classroom will be equipped with these RFID bags, and students will be required to put their cell phone in the bag on the desk, and then after the class is over, once they get in the hallways, they will still have the opportunity to use those during lunch, passing time, before and after school.
Are these going to be one per student or in each classroom?
Each classroom.
Okay, so they would just, next classroom,
Yep,
back it. Okay.
yep. Great question. And then the big change, and it's not as big a change, it's just more of the enforcement at the middle school. The middle school policy is students cannot have their phones on them. They're supposed to be in their lockers, and they're gonna really enforce that this year. But the number one thing that the middle school will be doing differently is students cannot come down to the office and use their cell phones to reach parents. They're gonna use our phones. And that's going to be kind of quite a change, but it became extremely disruptive in the office at the middle school. So Allison and her team met with all the 6th grade parents, made sure they're aware of these incoming changes. Adam and Allison will be communicating all these changes to their parents once early August, right before the start of school. And so stay tuned. We're really hoping to really preserve our instructional time free of distractions due to cell phones. All right. Great news. Really good news on the hiring front. We are almost fully staffed. We're, as far as our professional staff, we are fully staffed. We are working through a few paraprofessional positions and some administrative assistant positions, but we feel really, really good where we're headed into August 1st. So I'm anticipating by August 1, hopefully we will be fully staffed and hope for no surprises. But very excited. about welcoming all our new hires to Vicksburg Community Schools. And as always, we'll have that new teacher reception in December ahead of the board meeting so that you can meet all our new teachers. As far as Lansing goes, it's very, very quiet. I think we're all aware of that. When we got together last week, we talked about that. We're still waiting on a budget. We're still waiting on any information related to progress, and it seems like there's none. So I do not have much to report out of Lansing. One thing I did want to report on, which I thought was, it's gaining some steam. I can't remember the House bill number, but it may have bipartisan support regarding bringing cursive back into schools. And part of that will be a lot of optional. It'll be almost a local controlled decision. But the MDE has been asked to develop or look at programs that are out there. This would be something we'd be looking at, I think, 26, 27, potentially 27, 28. So stay tuned. But I thought, as far as at least something being discussed in Lansing regarding education, I thought that was it kind of opened my eyes a little bit. So I'll keep you posted on that. In your packet, we do have important dates, and obviously there's not much going on. Tomorrow night, the Vicksburg Theater Cabaret is going to take place at 6 o'clock at the Vicksburg Pavilion, if you're interested. But I did put a couple August dates in there, really important ones. August 14th, our annual Bus Safety Carnival. It's always a special evening here, teaching our youngest how buses operate and how to be safe. And then also the big community tailgate will be August 28th. So hopefully, I will definitely send more reminders your way, but if you can get those on your calendars for those important events, that would be great. And with that, Dave, that's my report.
I think it's interesting, we've always offered summer school, and I think our participation rates in the elementary have always been pretty good because there's an incentive for parents because they don't have to arrange daycare and kids get fed. And in the high school, there's the stick that they got to get credit recovery for many of them. And so we've always had participation, but where we've always struggled is the middle school because those kids are too old where they have to have daycare and they don't have to have credit recovery in the middle school. And a participation of 20 is actually high compared to what we've had. It seems, with the number of students who struggle, that seems low, but I know that they've been racking their brains trying to find out some way to increase participation. And I'm delighted we're up to 20, which is more than I think we've been in a... Yeah, right. So it's more in an individual tutoring session. Yeah. Yeah, but it's been hard to find a format that to get, and so I'm glad that we're finally getting some traction so that when they come to see Mr. Brush, they're not already way behind. So thank you for that. So next up, reports and public inquiry. Steve, all the budget related.
All right, should be a lot shorter than last month's. So let's have quick update for the month ended June 30th. Make a few comments about that, talk about investments, and that'll wrap it up before we turn it over to Dewey. We lose Dewey? Oh, I don't have my glasses on, sorry. So, and then we'll just kind of give an update on how the summer construction's going and take a look at some pictures and that kind of stuff. So, all right, first item is just to look at the general fund monthly budget progress report. Again, this is includes activity through the end of June 30th, which of course is the end of our fiscal year, but the process to close out the books takes quite a while, so we're in the process of doing that now. But just looking at activity year to date on the revenue side, we've got just about 83% of the revised or amended total, $32,182,473 out of a budgeted $38,696,823. The difference is primarily going to be in the form of the July and August state aid payments, one of which will come in on the 21st of this month, and then a month later. So that's part of that closing process to record all of that. There will also be some other receivables, some grant, would be recording revenue for grants and that type of thing. On the expenditure side, total instructional expenditures stood at $19,590,933. And what you might notice is that on a year-to-date basis, that is 88.43% of the amended budget total. And that's higher than we were at this time last year. But one big difference, as we are trying to kind of aggressively go through the closing process, there are, for our school year employees, which are primarily teachers, VEA members, most administrators and that type of thing, we have to accrue July and August payroll. And so these figures include the first July payroll, which for those 10-month employees, which is why you see kind of on that percentage basis, especially in instruction, where you see that we're a little bit ahead of this time last year. So that's strictly a timing difference, and I still feel pretty good about the amended budget. So total expenditures year-to-date, $35,802,085, and on a year-to-date basis, that is a shortfall of just over $3.6 million. But again, with the summer activity, I think we're still look pretty favorable for the amended budget, which still had a drawdown of fund equity, but of $600,000 as opposed to where we are today. All right. Looking at page 2 of that report, expenditures by object code, you can see that salaries and benefits totaled $28,725,779 on a year-to-date basis. And again, that's where you can kind of see that difference of 90.24% versus 87.43% last year. It's just that additional payroll that's included. Below that, you can see the breakdown for purchase services, supplies, capital outlay, and other. And then just a quick note that the other line item shows that it's over budget. It's about 152% of the annual budget. Of course, that's the smallest item on this sheet. But part of that closing process is the recovery of indirect costs from the food service fund, which will offset those expenditures. So that just, that's one of the last entries that we'll book. After everything's kind of done, we calculate indirect costs and then transfer that money from the food service fund into the general fund. And so it will reduce those other expenditures. All right. Any questions on that?
Could you review the timing from when we get payments from the state for this past fiscal year and then when they start with the new fiscal year?
Absolutely. So I alluded to it a little bit. The state pays state aid in 11 monthly installments. And so part of this, there's a disconnect between the state's fiscal year and the school's fiscal year. Our fiscal year runs from July 1st to June 30th. The state runs from October 1st to September 30th. And a number of years ago, when the state had, when there were, cash flow problems and budget issues at the state of Michigan, they modified the payment schedule. So, we start our fiscal year July 1st. We don't receive our first installment for the year until the third week in October. So obviously, we kind of run, operations are a little bit lower in July and August, but, by mid-August, we are full bore. So there's quite a lag there between when you think about our expenditures are predominantly payroll, and we pay those on a current basis every 2 weeks. So I think that speaks to the need to keep adequate financial reserves so that we can make payroll without having to borrow money and incur those costs, interest costs, and that type of thing. So as we have wrapped up the fiscal year, we still have 2 installments of state aid left, and the one will come in about a week from today, and then another month out, we'll get the final installment. Does that answer your question,
Yes,
Dave?
that's exactly what I was hoping.
But do those are going into next year's budget, though, right?
Well, it's revenue that's attributable to this year, and because it's received within a certain time frame, it's accrued as revenue in the 24-25 fiscal year.
Okay.
So there will be, we'll show a large receivable, and there will be a large payable, because for those 10-month employees, where we pay over July and August, we'll record that as a liability as well.
Okay.
So, all right. Other questions? All right, if not, then next item on our report is just a quick update on our investments. And once again, these are all cash equivalent investments. They are, think of them, they are, they're not technically money market funds, but think of them like money markets. They're investment pools that consist of investments that are allowable under state law for schools and municipalities in the state of Michigan. We don't include our checking balances here, but just the money that we've parked that we're trying to maximize our interest income on. And you can see that those funds are broken out. We've got investments in both the 22 and the 24 building and site funds. Then we also have investments in debt, in our debt retirement fund, as well as the general fund. So at the end of June, we had $15,471,478 in total investments. Obviously, most of that is restricted. The one line item there, the general fund at $5.164 million, those are unrestricted or general. I mean, those are available for anything that the school, our normal operations. Building and site funds are legally restricted for construction activities, as those are proceeds from bonds that we issued. And the debt retirement is also legally restricted because that represents dollars that are collected locally from our taxpayers to repay the bonds. We repay the bonds twice a year, May 1st and November 1st, so whenever we have the ability to invest our money for a little bit longer time, we try to do that. Bottom of that page, you can see a summary of investment income, again, not including checking account interest, but it's, we're happy to be able to, that we continue to be in an environment where interest rates generate some income, and you can see that in total, on a year-to-date basis, we're at $844,266, and you can see how that breaks out between each of the funds. So, any questions there?
I'd just like to make a comment again, and when I was looking at our income from the federal government now, it's down to about $360,000. And our investment income in all of those funds, now they're not unrestricted, obviously, but it gives you a magnitude of the impact that, we're getting more money out of interest in your investments than we are actually getting entitled money from the federal government now. So that's well worth it, and I really appreciate that, because that can make a difference in the classroom. So thank you for doing that.
Absolutely, Rates are kind of hanging in there. I think there's going to be, we'll just have to see. I think the trend is going to be down, but, nothing we can do about that. We just invest as well as we can while the rates are what they are. So.
Quick question, the income we make on the different funds, if you have the building funds, the interest we make on that, does it have to stay in the building fund, or can it be moved to the general fund?
No, it really needs to stay with the building and site fund. Yeah, the source of funds is restricted legally, so, anything that we earn on that goes right back into that fund.
Okay.
And, that helps when we see costs rise and that type of thing. It just gives us some, additional flexibility in that fund to cover those costs, or or put that money aside for the next round of projects. There will really always be a need for those dollars. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm answering your question around.
No, you are.
Yeah. Yep. What other questions? Okay. Well, if not, then At this point, I'd like to invite Dewey up to give us a quick overview on the projects.
Need the microphone? All right. Well, thank you, Board, for allowing me to present this. I don't know if we want to wait maybe a little bit later. I asked everybody I know if they could attend, and I don't know if maybe that backfired or something. We're a little light here in attendance. I expected them to be out the doors, but I thought that was maybe a slam dunk, but that backfired a little bit. What I'm going to show is just a series of slides, not many. This isn't going to take long. We're doing a lot of the same thing in all the schools. So, we're tearing up tile, we're putting in walls and things like that, but it's as exciting as it can be. So let me show you what I got, and then I'll narrate through. Sunset Lake, we seem to be doing a lot of everything at Sunset. This is literally week one. The kids are gone, and what we're doing is on this left slide, this is the coolest machine ever. It weighs a ton, and it just goes through and it tears up all the existing old tile, because we're going to be replacing tons of tile. So you see this machine a lot, and it's great to watch it go through, and it's just like peeling paint after you put that Homer Formby's on, and it peels right up. This stuff does a great job. And you can see him, he's got a hallway all done, and he's working. He's just turning the corner here to the area. This is, again, over at Sunset in the bathrooms. We're getting a whole brand new bathroom suite. So they've gone and they've torn up some concrete, because we're going to update some underground piping. It's getting a little aged, and we found out the slope isn't just right, so we're getting all that fixed. So we have better drainage through our bathrooms, which is awesome. The last picture is just the other end of this middle picture, showing where we've done all hand digging, excavating in there, where the water was coming from underground up. And we've decided for the addition, we're going to take the plumbing and bring it from the boiler room over top. So we're abandoning a lot of that underground waters. So we're updating it and making it a little easier to work on and moving forward. That was week one. Week two, you can see they've dug that up.
Hang on, Dewey, there's a question.
I've got a
sorry.
question.
Sure.
What does ganged toilets mean?
Yeah, gang toilets means it's a bigger bathroom. It's not like we call them one-holers, like the staff bathroom is a one-holer.
Okay.
That's just a single bathroom, a single sink and commode. This is the ones where the kids, you got the urinal, water closet.
Okay.
So, yeah, gang just means it's a public.
It's
where all
not
the
for gangs, it's a gang.
no, yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. Yeah, we've separated the gangs. They have their own toilets. So, no, this is just for they're ganging them all together rather than single occupancy rooms.
Got it. Thank you.
So, yeah, you can see here the underground. They've actually put the new PVC pipe in. This one's actually waiting for the inspector to come in, because everything that goes underground has to be inspected before we cover it all up. That way everybody gets the A-OK. Over here, the middle one is just that same area getting prepped to get cut. We should probably flip those, but that was a better picture that way. Over here, but again, we're still at week, probably the beginning of week 3. You can see the metal studs going up for the brand new construction. And yeah, we're literally like day 5, 10, 15 in, and they're already putting up these metal studs. So the construction is going pretty fast. Week 4, they've got it all laid out. Nobody's working here. We're waiting for a couple of columns to come in. We had one of the walls that we took out was structural, so we've got it kind of shored up, and we're waiting for these columns to be designed and come in. As soon as they come in, they'll put those in and swallow them up inside a wall, and then they'll finish this all up. So it looks much cleaner and ready to go at week 4. The ganged toilets. The other things that are getting done at Sunset, the main entrance, this is looking out toward the road, that's all getting peeled up. and getting new tile put in. I think we're going to get walk-off carpet where that main entrance comes in. It's more of a carpet like this that's designed to clean your shoes off and to keep it clean. By the time you get to the tile, your shoes should be mostly cleaned off, and it's a big helper. We have that in all our exits. We're getting new lighting put in our cafeteria. They only have one row left to do, and they'll be out of there at week 4, and that was last week, so I know that they're done with that. But that's exciting, new LED lighting. Middle school, week 1. Again, we're looking, it's pretty redundant. You see concrete floors. Those are our hallways. Those are all getting done. What's nice about the middle picture is, again, we're at week 1, and they've got the floor all done. And I took a picture because this guy is a painter, and he's cutting in the corners already. At week 1, we're already starting to paint. Nice. So it's just like everybody's pushing each other out. In our big storage room, gymnasium, that has already been painted. That got 2 new coats on it, so that looks really nice. Middle school, weeks 1 and 2. Again, I know there's kind of a same theme, but really all we're doing is a lot of tile, putting in, that's the band room, another classroom, and a third classroom. Again, that's just about all that's happening over there at the middle school. But that's, again, at week 1 and week 2.
Band room sure is sharp.
Yeah. The tile's just getting finished now. And our high school, week 1, and I put in there more like day 1. Literally, these movers they're watching the last bus. I took a picture, and I should have presented it here at the middle school. There's literally the last school bus is in the same picture frame as the movers of their truck, and they're literally like 100 feet apart. And I should have put that in there because it really was just how Fredericks and the construction crews all came in. It was like, kids are out, it's ours. And they really take advantage of those first few weeks. Here we are getting rid of our old desks and chairs. The band room, I took this picture because you never ever see a band room clean like that. I know it. But yep, the new floor is just about all in, and it looks great. And again, our storage rooms, the gymnasium, we only used 1/3 of it because we have summer camps going on all the time, so they're using the other 2/3. High school, week 3, some more gang toilets. What they're doing there? This is a single. This is a good explanation. This is only a single bathroom right here. Staff. It's a one-holer. It's right there. You can see where the water closet goes in, and it's already has a new flooring in it at week 3, and the painting is just getting ready to get done, and they're putting in the new ceilings here. Over in the gang, these bathrooms are the ones that are on the east side of the gymnasium. They're getting all updated with new fixtures. They're furring out this wall so we can put the electric behind it, and you can see him doing that in the far picture. And there's the electrician putting in to hook up all the sinks and the toilets, urinals, and the flush valves and everything there. Oh, and there's a better picture of the cool floor monster. I got him without him sitting on it. It's really cool. I wish you guys could see that running. It is. It just takes everything out of the way. And that's it. I know there's a lot of the same stuff, but as a whole, we're getting a ton of new flooring put in, and it's getting done as we speak. Every time I walk into another classroom, it's another classroom done. I should have took a picture of the science rooms, because they're the ones that were the worst, and now they're looking the best. So I'm anxious to see them when they're finished. So if anybody has any questions.
Is all the flooring similar to what we used to have, or?
We're putting in it's new. It's a non-waxable, so we don't have to wax it every summer, every winter break. And it's a luxury LVT, a luxury vinyl tile, which means it's a little bit thicker. And the patterns that you'll see in there are pressed into the tiles a little bit better. So if they get scratched, it won't like peel up and you won't see the scratch as well. So it's a little bit more of a nicer, longer lasting tile.
Will we need to get any different kind of equipment for cleaning it, or?
We've talked to the manufacturer. Matter of fact, over at Sunset, because this is like phase 2, the manufacturer's already come in and seen what we've done, and actually has had some new updated suggestions with what we're using, and here, try these instead. So we feel comfortable that what we're using now is what the manufacturer recommends. They came from out of state to pop in and see how we were doing. So I think that was pretty nice of them to come in and do that, so, yeah.
Dewey, they're all, it's like no wax, right?
Correct,
So-
yep.
They, used to always go through and have to wax everything, and so that'd be one thing that we don't have.
Yeah, stripping the wax and then putting down 7 layers of wax. That's a thing of the past here at Vicksburg. We won't have to do that anymore, including the hallways and everything, so that's nice. Yeah.
Can you give us just an overview of all the projects that have been done? Because at Sunset, you had to do half last summer and half this summer just because of the size of the project, correct?
Yeah, and the logistics, we still have school, we still have the kids club and things like that we had to maintain. So we, split the school in half, did as much as we could here while they maintained their existence here. And then, actually, we moved them over to Toby this summer, but that freed up now the front half. That's what we're doing, and that's what you saw the pictures were from for this summer.
But Indian Lake and Toby had been addressed in prior construction cycles.
Yeah,
Right.
Indian Lake is all done as far as flooring and things like that, so
Right.
they're kind of ghosted. Not a lot's going on there this summer.
Right.
And Toby, all their hallways are done, and the classrooms, so they're all completed and up to date too.
Yeah.
Yep, we just got the bigger square footage buildings that we have to get all caught up with
Right.
because they're so big.
And so after this summer, Sunset will be set, roughly half of the middle school and half of the high school. And next year, we'll be flipping and finishing up the balance of those floors.
Yeah, I could show these again next summer, and then it would be about the same. Floors are stripped, waiting for tile. Floors are stripped, waiting for tile. But we did a lot of painting, and there's a lot of refreshing. Even at Sunset, the area that we finished last year, they went and they painted this year. So it wasn't just exclusively cut in half. So we have, they get in where they can and getting all these, the updates done.
Is every school getting new bathrooms?
Yes, and the ones that Toby got done all last summer, and they look beautiful. They and Indian Lake also, those were all done. These guys, well, half of them got done last summer, and the picture I could have showed you these pictures last year because we had another gang toilet where we did the exact same thing, cut the floors all up, and put in a brand new restroom. So yeah. And they're just about done there. The middle school, they're getting next summer, I think they're going to get a couple more. Mostly they're done, but and we're just going to do a couple of refreshes with the middle school bathrooms too. But yeah, as of next summer, yeah, all the bathrooms will have been refreshed and up to date.
Nice.
Yeah, they look beautiful. They do.
Now,
Yeah.
early on in this bond cycle, within the last, we've addressed roofs first, did we not?
Yeah, and I'm not sure, I came in at about the 7th inning as far as the roofs and when they got done. And I don't know, Steve, maybe you?
Yeah, so I can't cite square footages and stuff,
Right.
but we, one of the things that we did was we worked with a roofing consultant to essentially map every roof in the district. And we are, we've been on a program to selectively replace different sections. And this year, we really don't have any roofing going on. There will be, we're already talking about the next bond proposal and everything else. We're in good shape now as far as our roofs go. There are additional sections that'll have to be done, but we're essentially up to date and current as far as our roofs go.
Yeah, and the reason I bring that up is because if you have a roof failing, a roof leaking, you gotta fix it. And if we have to pay that out of the general fund, that makes it harder to hire teachers and parapros and everything
Yeah.
else. So that if we stay on top of that and don't have these emergency repairs that have to be done, that really can free up or keep the general fund focused on education, which is where we want it to be. So,
Yep, for sure.
any other questions or comments, or did you have other items?
No, I
Steve?
just, probably all remember, last year was a very intense year of construction with all the mechanical upgrades that, you know, the high school and the middle school, just because of the sheer scope of them, each of those were done over 2 years. There were supply chain issues and everything else. And, you know, last year it took everything all of our contractors had to even be able to open school. So I'm hoping, when you look at those pictures, they're distressing. And you think about, there's maybe 55 work days between the last day of school and the first day of school. But hopefully it'll be much less chaotic than, you know, we had a hard time because, you know, all those systems were essentially newly installed. They didn't have time to correctly balance them out and test everything. And so maintenance was chasing stuff day in and day out for months, it seemed like. So hopefully this will be a little bit smoother start to the school year.
Yeah, and one of the future updates, especially mid-August, if you recall, we will have all the new furniture being moved into the buildings. So that's exciting. Looking forward to,
Is that
To those days.
Is that on schedule furniture? Is that all in the build?
I believe it is. We haven't heard anything
Haven't heard any
to the contrary. And the exciting part about the new furniture is they all have some new glides on them, so they're going to be extra careful with our brand-new
Right.
flooring. So we are making sure that they're cohesive. So, yeah, that's good.
I forgot, is the high school completely air conditioned yet, or is it still partially?
Yeah, well, the CTE lab, I think, is not, but everything else is. Their classroom is, but the lab themselves,
I get constantly asked about
yeah.
that. One person.
Yeah, you get on square footage wise, yeah. And I'd like to extend, if anybody on the board would like to take a tour, I'd be more than happy to let you guys go through and take a look. We can, I don't think we're working overhead, so I don't even think we have to wear hard hats, so if you want to take a view, I'll get you one.
Anyway?
I'll get you one. So, yeah. So I think that's all I have.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Julie.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, if nothing else from you, Steve, okay.
I need special permission to take my phone out so I can use my timer.
I'd like to put a motion on the table for Tim to be able to exercise that.
Not checking my texts.
Well, we're going to be tough on this. you know. Okay. All right, our next agenda item is for public comment. Meetings of the board are open to the public. It's the time the board conducts the business of governing the school system in the public arena. This is not intended as a meeting with the public with ongoing dialogue. Staff may follow up with you regarding issues raised during comment time. Please exercise decorum and respect laws regarding privacy and defamation. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. And what we'll do is, Tamara loves this idea, I'm going to hand her the gavel so that I can pay attention. And so you get 3 minutes, and when you have 10 seconds to go, I'll have her tap it once, and then when your time is up, she'll tap it twice. And I believe we only have one person who's signed up to make comment, and that would be Liz Castleberry. So I think they want you to come to that because for the live stream, they need to be able to pick you up. That doesn't magnify your voice here, but.
Okay. All right, thank you, members of the board, for having me speak. I'm a little better writer than I am speaker, so I have something on my phone that I just wanted to read off to you all.
Wait a minute. I didn't get your name. What's
Liz Castleberry.
your- Liz Castleberry?
Yes.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
Sorry about that. Today I want to talk to you all about a growing threat that I feel like is come to our school, and that is censorship and banning of books in our school libraries. These book bans are not just about removing titles from the shelf. They are about silencing voices and narrowing our perceptions, ultimately undermining the critical thinking that is at the heart of our public education. When we censor books, we send the message to students that certain ideas, people, experiences are not acceptable to talk about or to learn from. Let's be clear. Our students, they are not fragile. They are capable of grappling with complex themes. This is exactly what we want them to do. Education is about growth. Education and growth comes from the exposure to new ideas and not the suppression of them. Some argue that book bans are about protecting children. Protecting children does not mean shielding them from our reality. It means equipping them with the tools to understand it. When we teach students how to analyze, question, and discuss the contents of books, we are teaching them how to be responsible and discerning citizens. Censorship sets a dangerous precedent that I would not like to see our schools go down. Today, it may be a novel that somebody finds offensive. Tomorrow, it might be a textbook, a historical fact, or a scientific theory. Once we start erasing stories, it becomes very easy to erase the truth. As board members, you hold the power to defend our students' right to read, to learn, and to think. I urge you to stand up for intellectual freedom and reject efforts to censor or ban books in our schools. Our libraries must remain as places where ideas can be explored safely and freely. That is how we foster open minds and resilient communities. Let's trust our educators, let's trust our librarians, and ultimately, let's trust our students that they have the ability to handle what they are reading. Thank you.
Tamara's disappointed again, she didn't get to use the gavel.
This is
Thank
pretty
you.
cool if you want to tap twice.
Thank you. Let's proceed to board action required. We have approval of minutes, and we have 4 separate set of minutes. We have the regular meeting minutes from Monday, June 9, special meeting minutes Monday, June 16, special meeting Monday, June 23, and special meeting Wednesday, July 9. Are there any additions or corrections to that? If not, we'll need a motion for those.
So moved.
Moved by Tina.
Support.
Supported by Lisa. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? 4B, approval to authorize and direct the board secretary to post the regular meeting schedule of the Board of Education at the administration building and complete affidavit of posting.
So moved. Support.
Tina and Stephanie. Any comment, question? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Item 4C is approval of designated cash and investment depository. Steve, would you like to make any comment about that?
Yeah, most of these approvals are boilerplate, something that we do just as a matter of procedure each year. That first item, those are simply financial institutions that the district has relationships with and has funds deposited, and so it's just a housekeeping item to continue that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What is MILAF?
Oh, that's the Michigan Liquid Asset Fund, which is, so most of our investments are actually in a fund called MILAF. MILAF is administered by a firm called PFM Asset Management, and it's designed to be strictly in compliance with allowable Michigan school and local government investments. So that's where I talked about, those are funds that act like a money market. They're made up of the same types of securities, but they're designed specifically for schools. And, yep. All right.
Okay, thank you.
So we need a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Support.
Dan and Stephanie. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No? 4D is approval to designate authorized signatures for checking and savings, and there are 6 different subsections requiring 1 or 2 signatures. Steve, would you make a comment? Are there any changes? Is this what we've been doing right along?
It's essentially, yeah, what we've been doing. Yep. Same type of thing. It's just boilerplate update for the current year.
Okay. I move to accept.
Support?
Moved by Tina, support by Lisa. Okay,
Ron did too, I think.
we'll give them credit next time. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. 4E is purchase cards. Approve purchase card limits listed below with authority granted to the Assistant Superintendent to temporarily increase limits for specific purchases. And we have, obviously, 19 different people that can use purchase cards. Steve, you want to just review why we use purchase cards and whether this is, again, a change?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no change here. We use purchase cards really to streamline the purchasing process typically for incidental, small, day-to-day purchases, which is why most of the positions listed with a purchase card have pretty small limits. We also use those in the accounts payable process because like many of us have cards that pay rewards, there is a rebate program, and so the district earns a credit back. I want to say we average, depending on the year, 12 to 15,000 of rebate. It's not a huge amount of money, but it is something, and it also helps us to kind of push the cash flow out a little bit, because you think of how credit cards work and the statement cycle. Basically it allows you to keep money in your bank longer, which helps smooth out low points in cash flow, and it also allows us, as we earn those rebates, to continue to earn interest in the investment accounts. So there's really no significant change. It does mention in there, and we had a quick conversation about this, we do have the authority to go in on a case-by-case basis and adjust limits up, with prior approval, and so we do that occasionally when it makes sense. So, all right.
I have a question. So how did you, determine, the high school, Adam gets $7,500? Do you, put in hey, this is what I think I'm going to spend, or you're just like, hey, this is what I'm getting, so here we go?
It's, the limits, most of the limits had been set at 5,000 for many, many years. And for the most part, that works. But we had just, like anything, as costs have increased over the last 15 years, we found that there were a lot of instances where we've had to go in and adjust those card limits. And so, it's just a matter of keeping kind of constraints on that spending, but making it so it's usable. And so I think it's important to point out that everything is still subject to budgetary limits and everything else. So, the cards, each employee with a purchase card signs a detailed agreement that lists, acknowledges this is what it can be used for, this is what it can't be used for, this is the documentation you have to provide. If you misuse the card, this is what can happen, all that kind of stuff. But the limit has evolved over time just to meet needs.
Mm-hmm. I like that. It probably makes it a lot easier for the staff to just get what they need and not have to get everything approved before they buy it.
Yeah, it's a balancing act. We like to have control over the purchasing process naturally, but I haven't even heard an updated figure on this, but a long time ago, in my prior role outside of education, there were studies that would, estimate how much, in terms of just the cost to process a purchase order through the system and print it and send it and all the steps that are involved. I'd say 20 years ago, that was over $100 per purchase order. And a lot of times when we're making purchases a lot of the purchase card purchases are under $100, so it's just a way to try to streamline.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes more sense, yeah.
Well, Adam, this was your chance to ask for more.
I know.
We would never allow that.
Musicals and plays, and they're always just.
We have board rates, we have 12.
I know.
Do I have to motion?
Yeah, we need a motion in a second.
I tried.
Well,
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, so we would, just to make it clear, this would be for 4E, items 1 through 19 together.
Correct.
Correct. Okay.
Nice.
Support.
Support from Ron. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item 4F, approval of the following retainer service providers for the 25-26 school year, and F1 is our auditors, Plant Moran. And you should have all received an email. That process has already started as soon as the fiscal year ended. So that is underway, and legal with Thrun. And both of those we've had a relationship with for quite some time now. Okay.
Move approval.
Moved by Tina,
Support.
support by Stephanie. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, and I believe we are done before 8 o'clock.
Oh, my God.